Watkins Glen, baby. After 21 years, the Truck Series makes its return. Wheels up, let's roll. 7 turns, 7 chances to make or break your season. 7 times to give it your all. Forget wanting to win. It's now a must-win. It's the race to the playoffs, and it starts now.
What a beautiful day in the Finger Lakes region of New York, one of America's iconic racing venues. This is Watkins Glen, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series regular season finale, presented by Blue Emu. Today's the last chance to clinch a playoff spot. 3 are available. 18-year-old Carson Hocevar has been one of the breakout stories of the season. The teenager still searching for his first series win, but he's been good enough for 8th in the standings. And with 10 making the playoffs, can Hocevar avoid disaster and continue his steady climb today? Stuart Friesen rolls off mid-pack, a fan favorite in this part of the country with a huge modified following. After missing the truck playoffs last year, Friesen will try to protect his position inside the top 10 and return to championship condition. And then there is Chandler Smith, the 19-year-old from a small town in Georgia in the big time with Kyle Busch Motorsports. Ran second in the most recent race on the dirt at Knoxville, but today he finds himself on the playoff bubble as he awaits the twists and turns of the Glen. And what about those below the cut line? Drivers like Derek Kraus, who know if they're to make the playoffs, they'd better win today. It's been done in this series before. Can it be accomplished again this afternoon?
Here to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome the Director of Corporate Partnerships for United Rentals, Chris Cox.
On behalf of United Rentals and all our employees, drivers, start your engines.
Great to hear that sound of the engines fired and all ready to go, along with Joey Logano, former Cup champion, former Watkins Glen winner, and the 2-time Daytona 500 winner, Michael Waltrip. I'm Vince Welch. Great to have you with us today, and it is a big day. The regular season finale, we're going to find out the 10 drivers that are going to go on for a chance to win the championship. And how about the pressure that these drivers are facing today to clinch that playoff spot, and the 3 drivers right now above the cut line and those that are below?
Well, you said it, Vince. All the races up to this point lead up to today at Watkins Glen, and everyone's in a different situation. Some have to win. That's what they have to do to get through. You see those drivers right by the cut line, right below it or right above it. Your race is going to be different no matter what place you're in and trying to get through. But as you see, that 40 points that you have to make up. It's going to take a lot for Derek Kraus to be able to make that up. You just got to go bank in and try to win. That's mainly his big goal. But if he wins, everything changes, Michael.
Joey, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's pretend he does win, or once someone below the cut line wins, and we have a new winner here at Watkins Glen. It reminds me a lot of what happened in New Hampshire in the Cup Series. Eric Almirola, 26 in points. He wins. It upsets some people's apple cart that were right there on that playoff bubble. That could happen today. And then the difference between 10th and 11th is only 13 points. So there's a lot of people that are cheering for a new winner, but there's 3 drivers that just say, let's just chill, keep this thing straightforward.
Yeah, stay out of that 10th spot for those guys, that's for sure. Hey, let's go downstairs to pit road, join our pit reporters. We've got Regan Smith and Jamie Howe down there. We say good afternoon first to Jamie. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Vince. Good afternoon. You know, there are a couple of drivers who are here really just to race. They're not worried about points at all. One of those being Kaz Gralla in the 02 from Young Motorsports. And they really feel like they turned some heads, he and crew chief Eddie Traconis, at the last road course at Circuit of the Americas, where they were able to bring home a 2nd place finish. Kaz told me this morning that's going to be a little more challenging here at Watkins Glen. This track is not nearly as technical. It's going to come down to having the aero strength, the engine power. Those are 2 areas they're still looking to improve on. But he did say that if he can bring this car home with all of the fenders on it, with a solid head on his shoulders, and doing everything that the team needs to do on pit road to execute, they have a chance at a top 10 finish. For more on pit lane, let's go down to Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, the guys just talked about the efforts that teams that need to race their way in are going to have to make. The guys that aren't already locked in, unfortunately, on Wednesday of this week, their job got much tougher. Chase Purdy, COVID protocols, is going to be out of the race because of them. So implement AJ Allmendinger. The team called AJ, said, hey, can you come do the race at Watkins Glen for us? AJ already here, scheduled to race this afternoon in the Xfinity Series race. Said, absolutely. Now, with AJ in the field, the favor instantly becomes him with his road racing background. The ability that he's got on these racetracks is going to make it very difficult on the rest of these guys now to get that win that they need. AJ said, the only thing that matters to me is a win in this truck today.
Well, it's going to be fun, Regan, seeing Allmendinger come from the back of the pack as he makes his way toward the front. Sure to happen, that's for sure. We're getting ready to go racing at the Glen. Stay with us. Series Racing on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. Great to have you with us. An absolutely beautiful day at Watkins Glen, New York, and look at the crowd. I mean, it is going to be a great weekend. Xfinity Race following us here today, the Cup race later today, and Mike, for these trucks, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
I mean, this is a great day. Look at how many people have showed up to watch our truckers go 72 laps. You see the 3 stages, 27 laps in that last stage. Vince, is really interesting. That's about the pit window. How will strategy play into that? Greg Biffle was our last winner here at Watkins Glen.
Long time ago.
21 years ago. You got to check out our Camping World track description, but check this out. We're going to go with the map, Joey. We're going to do a lot of elevation changes. The first is when we dive down into turn 1, hard braking zone.
And you said it, dive down into turn 1. Look at the elevation change as you go down to the corner. Trying to stop a heavy stock car or a truck into turn 1 is going to be very challenging. I see everyone trying to funnel down in there. It makes it very tough. Here we see the 18 get in there just a little bit too deep. That's all it takes. And next thing you know, you're around. And that's going to happen over and over today.
But when we leave that tough part of the racetrack, as you see Kyle Busch around, Martin Truex got a great view of that. We're going to go up through the S's, mostly wide open up through here, which sets you up for a another huge braking zone down at the bus stop. And you know, if you're in there by yourself, it's a pretty technical area, fun to do, and you can make some passes here, as you see Denny Hamlin around the outside making it work. But if not done properly, things can go haywire in a hurry. As you can see, Brad Keselowski gets together, they spin around. You're going to take a friend with you, and chances are when it's over, he won't be your friend.
No not anymore after something like that. And then you go down here to turn 7. This is the final corner on the racetrack that sets you up to the start-finish line. You want to get a big run off of this. You could have a last lap pass. We've seen that happen before, but into another hard braking zone back into turn 1.
Oh, the way you guys described it, I think there's going to be a lot of people mad and have their feelings hurt.
Absolutely,
today.
It's a road course.
Austin Hill and Todd Gilliland on the front row. Hill, the most recent race winner at Knoxville, and Gilliland was the most recent road course winner. He scored victory at COTA. You see Chandler and Matt Crafton on row 2. Ben Rhodes won at the Daytona road course. John Hunter Nemechek, our regular season champion, got that big regular season trophy earlier today. And I tell you what, 40 trucks, and there's going to be a lot of guys you're going to see pass through here on this lineup that believe they've got a real chance at winning this race today.
And here's the tricky part for these truckers here today. They're going to start this race with no practice. Some of them never made laps here at all. Some may have run the ARCA race yesterday. And you're barreling it down into turn 1 saying, where am I supposed to hit the brakes? And then you got to do that again into the bus stop, and then again back into turn 6 and 7. So there's a lot of learning at a really quick rate. And then you have some experienced guys like AJ Allmendinger that's going to be knowing where to brake, passing a lot of trucks really quickly.
You know, and you mentioned AJ, he starts back in 25th. There's Kaz Grala is in 23rd, so there's going to be obviously a lot of passing, a lot of movement as these guys that are experienced road racers take advantage of these guys that doesn't have the laps here.
And that is correct. By the way, you did see Paul Menard's name on that list. Of course, Cup veteran, and his mini Xfinity Series starts here at Watkins Glen as well. Back downstairs, check in again with Regan.
Well, Vince, Joey just talked about drivers that ran that ARCA race yesterday to gain experience. One of those was Tyler Ankrum in the 26 truck. Specifically ran the race just so he could get a little bit of extra seat time, see this racetrack, and understand where his braking points and all the different things are that he's going to go through today in that truck. Said he felt good about it. Even if he only got 10 laps in the race, he said it was going to be more than enough. He ran most of the race yesterday. Other than Circuit of the Americas, this is the one track he told me that he feels most comfortable coming to, that if he's got to race his way in, that if he's got his back against the wall like he does right now, that he could get the job done. Jamie Howe?
Regan, another driver that ran the ARCA race last night looking for that seat time is our pole sitter, Austin Hill. He did end up finishing second in the race last night, and he said the biggest takeaway from it was just the momentum that you need. He said you've got to use a lot of the racetrack just to carry that speed. There's about 50 more horsepower in one of these Ilmor engines in the truck than what they have in the ARCA car, but he said all of my visual markers are current. He said that those nerves, the jitters are now out of the way, and he's ready to go racing.
And we are as well, racing on the road course for the 3rd time this season. We'll do it at Watkins Glen.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen. We're on board with Stuart Friesen with our FS1 cameras. You can see Stuart working that wheel. And look, Joey, on his helmet, we've got the visor cam. This camera gives the viewer at home every feeling that you have when you're behind the wheel. Look how clear it looks out front, how calm it looks. That's getting ready to change.
Yeah, especially when he goes through that inner loop or the bus stop, however you want to call it. There's jumps over there. They jump over the curves, come down. It's crazy.
And then we have a bumper camera that's going to ride on the front of Taylor Ancrum's truck as we're going green.
Immediately 3 wide going down to turn 1.
Oh, look at that
we
big
talked
dive.
about this.
Didn't take long. Nemechek and Rhodes, and the 18 of Chandler Smith has gone around as well.
Wow. Some of those drivers, Vince, on the front couple of rows were conservative in there. John Hunter wasn't.
Some
Stayed
were
green.
not.
Stayed green. Well, just as you guys said in the pre-race, it's a tight spot and it funnels down and eventually somebody gets spit out.
Well, look out. It might happen again as you go into this inner loop here, into this braking zone. Look, you see some drivers be aggressive, some be conservative. Looks like it might go smoother this time.
Wonder if there's any damage on the Ford truck of John Hunter. We know he got into the back of Ben Rhodes. He seems to have stabilized. You see the black truck just in front of the white one there in the middle of the corner. What about that too, Joey? How wide these truckers are running way off the race course.
Gilliland took a look at the inside there of Austin Hill for the lead. That's Hill in the blue truck, Gilliland in the red 38, and right behind is Matt Crafton, the 3-time series champ, running third in the neon yellow 88.
And remember, all these guys are trying to figure out where to brake the first time. Here's a replay of the start of the race. Like you said, some are going to very conservative, some are being aggressive. The good thing about Watkins Glen in turn 1, look at all the room there is to go around the accident to where there isn't really much damage to the cars that got spun out.
You know what's funny, Vince? I look at that runoff room that Joey was speaking of. As you watch again, John Hunter getting loose in the corner, pounding into Ben Rhodes and spinning him around. A couple of nice moves there. Carson Hosemeyer slipping by on the bottom. But we talk about that as runoff room in case there's a problem. But you watch, these trucks will be all over this racetrack, running really wide off the corners.
That's the last thing you want to. You get all set up to start the race, and first thing you know, you're backwards before the race even starts.
Unusual move there from Nemechek at the start going into 1, and see him out of control in very many situations as he seemed to be there. But everybody has made it through, and now more trouble for the 12 of Tate Fogelman. Again, the green stays out as drivers try to avoid Fogelman as he comes back on the track. Wow, that was close. It's amazing that more trucks didn't get caught up in that first turn, first lap accident. And now Fogelman back on track, and surprisingly, nobody else was involved in that one. Oh, the 0-2.
It's an Indian tire.
Yep, Kaz Gralla.
And Kaz, one that we thought would be really good. He's an experienced road racer, shows a lot of speed. He's not out yet. It looks like they could probably fix this, put a tire on it. But look at all the trucks pitting for damage here.
Yeah, they're also pitting. You're going to see some crazy strategies. Don't put it past some of these teams to pit when we don't think they will have a plan for the very end of the race. We talk about differing agendas, Vince. Today we're having that with people trying to make the playoffs and just winning the races.
And one of those drivers is Tyler Ankrum, Regan.
Well, Vince, it appears that there was a flat right rear tire on the 26 of Tyler Ankrum, so they decided to hit pit road, came on the radio, said, I need to pit right now. They got ready. The team did as quick as they could. You see a good stop for them.
Well, certainly different type of challenge for the pit crews as well, as they pit the trucks coming in the opposite direction of what they would normally enter on an oval. This is on board the 26 of Ankrum.
Wow. A 360 in the S's without hitting the fence.
Yeah, that's not fun.
That's a good job of hanging on.
They should have changed his shorts while they were changing his tires for that one.
I mean, it makes it uncomfortable the rest of the day.
You're telling me.
Big dive here.
Yeah, it's the 42 of Hosevar making the move on Crafton.
Well, he was down in the dirt, Vince, on that first turn, first corner spin.
How about the 0-2 of Kaz Gralla, Jamie Howell?
Well, he brought the car in with damage on the right side of the truck from that contact. They did replace those right side Goodyear tires. They have used the crowbar to try and get some of that bodywork out so it doesn't draw, but they did have to add some tape on it. So a couple of extra few minutes, but they feel like they have a truck that they can take back to the racetrack.
Thank you, Jamie. Great battle here up front as Austin Hill continues to hold the advantage over Todd Gilliland, and they have gapped Carson Hocevar about 3 seconds or more.
They've been battling since the beginning of this race, these two, for the lead. And something about Watkins Glen, too, especially with these trucks, they punch a huge hole in the air. When you go down that straightaway, just saw them go through into turn 6 and 7, and then also through the S's into the bus stop. There's a draft, and it's definitely going to keep these trucks close together.
You saw Ben Rhodes peel off right in front of the leaders and go back down pit road. He has a drive-through penalty because he was speeding on pit road last time he came down. So to make matters worse is Rhodes, and Gilliland is challenging Hill for the lead again.
Using all the racetrack there. And that's how you pass on these road courses. You try to set them up in sections like this through the S's. You can't really go too wide very fast through there. You try to set them up through here and then out-brake them into the bus stop. And it kind of becomes a game of chicken at that point. It's, all right, I'm going to out-brake you. Someone's got to give unless it's going to get ugly.
I think Gilliland's a little bit faster than our race leader, Austin Hill, right now. But like you said, Joey, picking the right spot to make that dive bomb and play that game of chicken as they sweep off, heading down toward turn 6 here. Nice long straightaway. Hey, by the way, that track wasn't over there when I raced here last. That's new, and the drivers they're certainly happy about using it.
Johnny Sauter in for a pit stop as he's leaving his box now. What were they doing, Regan?
Vince, another tough break for one of the drivers that has to race their way into the rest of the playoffs today. Johnny Sauter, we saw those trucks going off on the racetrack. Grass on the grill. He was overheating, had to pit and clean off the grill of that race truck, as did the 51 of Corey Heim, your winner from yesterday's ARCA race.
Well, if you're going to have a problem, it's good to have it early and get it out of the way and have the rest of the day to recover. As you saw Todd Gilliland get around Austin Hill for the lead, and then Gilliland, he's using it all up.
Man, these truckers don't mind leaning on those Goodyear tires, do they? What a strong exit to that corner. Held the lead, but looked like he was going to spin out.
Yeah, it looked like those curbs are a little bit slicker than the asphalt on the racetrack. And he got on it, and here we go. Oh, boy. We're going to shut up and watch this for a second.
Lap traffic already for the leaders as Gilliland now through the bus stop with Austin Hill right on his bumper. Wow, look at that.
38's a little loose, guys.
Vince, what would you say if I told you Ben Rhodes and Kaz Gralla were going to be 39th and 40th on the lap down this early in this event? Something crazy had to happen, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Wouldn't have believed it. Joey talking about the 38 being awfully loose. How about it, Jamie?
The team was talking to Todd Gilliland, said, we noticed that we had a little lockup. We need you to focus right now. Make sure you don't have a vibration, something that could hurt us later on in this stage. But you saw he made that pass, made it stick. When I talked to him before the race, he was so excited about today. He said that the team's really come together. They finally have the crew, they have the spotter, the communication, the parts, everything they need. He feels like today could be the day that they get a road course win.
Yeah, and I think Gilliland's been as hot as any driver in the series. He's top 7, 9 of the last 10 races. Of course, got that big win at COTA. Looking for another one today, but it's early. Gilliland is out front. We were talking about earlier that interloop, and look at it. Whoa! Hang on. Going to see a lot of that today. under caution at Watkins Glen. Camping World Truck Series season finale, regular season finale, in the 45 of Chad Chastain down into turn one.
He just gets in there. You can see those rear tires are hopping. He's wheel hopping. Can't slow it down in time. Get up into the slick stuff way out here where it's dirty, and you find a tire barrier.
The younger brother of Ross Chastain making his Truck Series debut, and this was the pass for the lead as Todd Gilliland got the better of Austin Hill.
And he was driving off to a pretty nice lead, Vince, and the caution fell for Chastain's issue down into turn one. What's that feeling like, Joey, when you feel those back tires start to just hop on you? We talked about downhill, fast part of the corner or fast part of the track, getting the brakes on hard. How do you control it? Well, you obviously don't control it very well when that happens.
It's not a good feeling, Michael, I'll tell you that much. And it's so easy to do it into turn one. We talked about the elevation change before this race started. Going down into turn one, the rear tires just get so light. And if there's one place you're going to wheel hop on this racetrack, it is turn one. And once it starts going, it's almost like a basketball. It just starts getting worse and worse and worse until you're able to slow it down. Sometimes you can push the clutch in. That'll calm everything back down to try to relieve the back of the car.
You saw Ben Rhodes go by the pace truck just a moment ago, getting the free pass.
That's a good feeling. He got off to a rough start, not because of anything he did, and now he's going to be back on the lead lap. But there's a couple of trucks that I thought could win this race today that are stuck still a lap down. We'll see how that plays out.
It was a wild first few laps. That's all I know. First corner was wild.
How about some of those that are on the move? Sam Mayer, that 32 truck, up 27 spots. Parker Kligerman, 22 spots up. Parker's birthday tomorrow. Shout out to him for an early birthday. AJ Allmendinger, we expected to be moving up, and Paul Menard as well.
Those guys you expect to start moving forward for sure. The guys with experience that have been to this racetrack, doesn't matter what it's been in, as long as you know kind of what corner's coming up next and some of the little technical pieces of the racetrack. We see a lot of trucks pitting here.
Yeah, differing strategies. We're going to have this all day long, guys, and we know that some of these teams are desperate for a win. How can they use pit road to help them get that track position and put themselves in a spot where they can win? This is a truck we're going to keep an eye on all day long for sure. AJ didn't get off to the start like I thought he would, Regan. Are they going to make some adjustments here?
Well, Michael, the biggest problem for AJ right now is that truck is wheel hopping really bad. That means when he gets on the brake, as you guys have talked about earlier, the back of the truck wants to hop up and down. AJ's such a good road racer, very aggressive with that brakes. Otherwise, he feels good about the truck and where it's at, just needs a little bit of help with that.
Well, if you're the crew member inside the truck through the passenger side window, or the non-passenger side window, is never a good sign. What's going on there for Infinger, Regan?
Well, unfortunate break for Grant early in this race, Vince. They are stuck in second gear with that truck. The good break is the yellow flag did come out, so they had an opportunity to work on it. Can't get it out of second gear, though. Same truck that Grant finished fourth in Circuit of the Americas earlier this year with, an oval truck that they went out and did a great job with, so I know they're disappointed right now.
Yeah, the 6th race for Grant in that 9 truck this year, also splitting time in the 98.
And this is some of the things we talk about, the lack of practice in NASCAR right now. These are the little issues that can pop up. If this happened in practice, no big deal, they fix it for the race. It happens in the race, oh no. It's the race that started, you're in second gear, you're praying for a caution, which he got one, which he hopefully it's something just in the linkage, he's able to fix it.
Coming up on Thursday, it's the Yankees and the White Sox. And boy, this is going to be a special night as they travel to Iowa and the site of, I think, the most beloved baseball movie of all time. It's going to be an historic regular season matchup on the real Field of Dreams. You won't want to miss it. The Major League Baseball Field of Dreams game. It's presented by Geico. Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And if you are a sports fan and have not seen the movie Field of Dreams, I strongly encourage you to do that. Check in with Jamie.
Vince, one driver making their Truck Series debut here today is Taylor Gray, and that number 17 from DGR Crosley. We were expecting to see Taylor make his Truck Series debut earlier in the season, but back on April 8th, less than 1 month after his 16th birthday, Taylor was involved in a single-car accident that left him with a broken back as well as a left broken ankle, and he's had to spend the last several months going through recovery. I spoke to him out on the grid, and he said, you know, I think back to that time and the lessons that I learned, and it's really just forced him to grow up as a person, the determination that he put into the recovery to get back out here on the racetrack. He said, if you can dream it big enough, you can definitely do it. But he's grown up a lot since April, Vince.
Well, most importantly, just glad to see him healthy enough to resume his passion of racing. And so thankful that he wasn't more seriously injured in that incident. Back to racing here at Watkins Glen. We're halfway through stage 1. Austin Hill in the blue truck on the outside, and Todd Gilliland in that red truck inside. And we've piled them up again, or collected some again, going down into turn 1, but they've made their way through for the most part, and we stay green.
I think it was Ben Rhodes again, or was it not?
I don't know. Was it Eckes?
It is the 98 of Eckes, who is racing as a professional for the first time here in his home state of New York.
Look at all this bobbing and weaving. Called it, Joey, about how they're going to just charge into these braking zones, and man, contact everywhere.
Like I said, you go into this bus stop right here, someone's got to give. Sometimes nobody gives, and that's where you get contact, but eventually someone's got to woe that thing up. But you're maxed out on your braking at that point. You're stopping as hard as you possibly can. It's hard to stop any harder.
Gilliland out front, and that's Hocevar in the 42 running second, with Sheldon Creed third in the 2 truck. Austin Hill, who restarted on the front row, has slipped back about 5 spots. There he is in that blue and white Toyota.
Phil Parsons was talking in our pre-race show about Sheldon Creed and his road race prowess, and we know he can get it done on these type of courses. Check this out. This is a mess. You can see the silver truck just gets clobbered from behind. Austin Wayne Self, strong early in this race, got into the back of Christian Eckes and spun him around. Everybody else did a nice job of.
The first time it was Rhodes in the 99 in a very similar paint scheme than the 98.
That's what got me confused.
Everybody ought to just be thankful they're not the gray truck right now.
Absolutely.
Gilliland out front, was the winner at Coda. That one was in the rain, ran that entire race with the wets as Sam Mayer cuts the corner a little bit, trying to make a move on Friesen.
Also watch the 51 there, Corey Heim behind these two. He did a great job yesterday in the ARCA race, huh?
Winning that ARCA race, made the great pass of Ty Gibbs and took it to victory lane.
And now he's strong here in the trucks. There's local favorite, hometown area for Stuart Friesen on board on his visor cam.
It's a fun view too, and you'll be able to see, especially as we watch this throughout the day, how much your head moves. Watch how much his head moves when he hits the brakes here and it goes forward. It's a heavy braking zone we've talked about. Maybe not as much as I thought it would, but it feels like a lot when you're in there.
Regan.
Vince, huge playoff implications down here on pit road. When we saw that wreck going into turn 1 on the restart, to the left of the screen there was a truck still sitting on pit road. That was Chandler Smith. They believe they have something broken in the front end of that truck. The guy that is on the playoff bubble right now could change the entire look of the rest of this race for the guys that are trying to race their way in. He's not going to get points here. He's a lap down right now. A huge hole for Chandler Smith to dig out of right now.
You've got to believe that stomach is churning for poor Danny Stockman, the crew chief there on the right-hand side. You see our playoff bubble there on the left-hand side there, the pylon.
That's just enough to get your attention if you're those guys that are outside the playoffs looking in. They're going to get word from their spotters. We've got one of the guys up ahead's had some issues. We need to make sure we capitalize all we can, and that's what these truckers are trying to do.
Yeah, we said Chandler Smith really just needed to avoid disaster today, and the disaster has struck. 7 laps left here in stage 1 at Watkins Glen. Back to the United Rentals 176 at the Glen. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series regular season finale. 3 spots still available for the playoffs, and one of those drivers in contention having a big problem. That's Chandler Smith. He's got a mechanical issue that they haven't yet diagnosed. Todd Gilliland is your leader.
Right along with Stuart Friesen down into turn 1. Getting ready to have company.
That might have been enough for you to see. There you go, AJ going by him there.
The band of buggies.
You carry a little bit too much speed into turn 1, and you get high. Next thing you know, that the truck behind you is going to go right by. In for show, off for dough. That's the name of the game in turn 1.
After that pit stop, Allmendinger's rallied up to the 12th spot. We know he's going to be a contender. I wonder if they made adjustments on his truck for that wheel hop in the back. Is there anything the crew can do, or is that all on him?
Matt Crafton has gone around there in the bus stop area.
Wow, damage. That means he was racing hard with someone and got that damage, and around he went.
Crafton has already clinched a playoff position. He's in on points. Currently occupies the 7th playoff spot. You see 4 laps now remaining here in stage 1 as the leader Gilliland just crossed the line, and the 3 has gone around.
Whoa, we're going to do a whole bunch of 360s. Yeah, triple axle.
Yeah, Bobby Roos running that 3 with Jordan Anderson. That's
your ice skating days, Joey.
My sister's a figure skater. I don't know.
Give him a 7.5. Regan in the 21.
Well, no ice skating right now for Zane Smith. You see they chose to go ahead and pit right now, get some tires and fix that truck up. Right now, too tight for Zane Smith. The front tires are chattering and so tight. That's like when you're on the interstate and you feel you get off to the side of the interstate and you feel those rumble strips. Tyler Ankrum also trying to race his way in right now with his 26 truck. Feels pretty good about where his vehicle is at the moment.
Wow, we've got a lot. You said a lot going on in the first lap. What about Matt Crafton? He was around in the inner loop. See if we can figure out what happened. Got an interesting look at this.
I see he's letting one go.
Oh yeah, Austin Wayne Self got in there.
Yeah,
a little hard.
To the right rear of Crafton. That'll do it.
The worst part for Crafton, he was trying to be careful there, letting the truck that was passing him go, and then here comes the next one that I think probably caught him by surprise.
Now, I don't know if he can get on and off of pit road. If he pits, you can see how slow he's going there. Watch behind him, Bobby Roos.
Way off track and then tried to gather it up, and it's amazing that others weren't collected. I was dizzy just watching that the first time, and then we showed a replay.
And so this is kind of the strategy moves that's going on right now, is that you can pit with a couple laps to go in these stages and cycle yourself forward. You're just giving up your stage points.
Yep.
Regan?
Well, Carson Hocevar very confident in his truck right now. As this run goes on, he's simply been out there just saving his truck, trying not to hit the curbs and tear it up. Jamie?
Austin Hill brought it in as well, making his early stop for 4 new Goodyear tires. You know, we talked about the change for the crew with it being on the other side of the wall, the pit wall, and for the driver, they've got to keep in mind they can't get too close. It's a different site for them, but it was a clean pit stop, a slight air pressure adjustment just to get some more front grip.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier about the challenge for the pit crews and the drivers. And of course, having to pit on the other side of the truck.
Yeah, we call it a backwards pit stop, where typically, you know, the teams are jumping off from the other side of the wall. As you can see, everyone's on the right side of the car, where they're typically on the left side of the car. It changes how these pit stops go, where each player on the team has to be. Everything is completely different. Usually you see that give up a second, maybe a second and a half on pit stop times. And more mistakes are likely to happen.
Speaking of mistakes, Matt Crafton, since that spin, has not been able to get it back up to speed, and he is now nearly a lap down.
There's the leader, Todd Gilliland. He's been out front for 14 laps. He only led 8 laps when he won at COTA. So already a better lead up to the finish for Gilliland. Can he finish the job and get his second win of the season? Still a long way away from that, but it's been a good start so far for the 38.
But this is the strategy play we talk about. He's going to stay out, I think, and maybe not, but I think he's going to stay out and collect a playoff point that's going to carry with them during the playoffs and hopefully get him into the championship 4 when you get to Phoenix. Now, the penalty in this race might be that he's going to have to cycle to the middle or toward the back of the pack at some point, as those cars that just pitted a few laps ago are going to cycle forward.
There you see the 23. I was asking you when Matt Crafton went for a spin, is there anything the team could do to help his wheel hop? We heard AJ say that he had bad wheel hop, or is that all on him adjusting the brake balance?
There's a lot that goes to it. Yes, the driver can help some with the brake bias, dialing some front brake to it, but it also goes a lot with what the setup is in the truck itself, and some things you can't change during the race.
They did put the wrench in the back end of that 23 when he came to pit road, as you see, trying to hold off Stuart Friesen now on the outside. Norm Benning is on pit road as well here with just 1 lap left in stage 1.
I've been impressed with Friesen. We saw AJ in the Bama Buggies truck go by, but he's been able to hang right with this group. So it looked like his truck was ill handling, but he's been able to make some nice moves. And with the pitting, Stewart's up to the 8th spot. Nice battle here for a top 5 position. A.J. Allmendinger up to 6th. Austin Wayne Self, who's had a couple of on-track altercations, he finds himself up in the 5th position. So nice run for that team.
Todd Gilliland working his way toward the green and white checkers. Gilliland is going to win stage 1. It's his 3rd stage win of the season.
Look how he gapped him, Vince.
Yep.
Wow.
Pretty fast.
A 2-time winner in the Camping World Truck Series, including a win earlier this season at COTA. Turning left and right suits Todd Gilliland just fine. He's the stage 1 winner at the Glen.
Talk about it. Don't matter.
What a great view of the camping area as well as part of the racetrack here at Watkins Glen. Camping area is sold out. It is a great weekend of NASCAR with the Camping World Truck Series and the Xfinity Series today. The Cup race tomorrow. You see our stage 1 results with Todd Gilliland getting his 3rd stage win of the season.
And a very valuable playoff point that he will carry with him like luggage. You keep it forever.
He hopes to carry that right on
as long as you get it a baggage claim
through the playoffs and maybe even to Phoenix for the Final Four.
Vince, what about the pairing between Camping World, NASCAR, and the truck? Have you ever seen any more campers? I mean, that's just beautiful.
Watkins Glen has maybe the best infield of any racetrack we go to. The amount of fans that show up, they love their racetrack. And that's how they call it. They say, what do you think of our racetrack? Everyone that lives around there travels to this place and absolutely loves it. The history around Watkins Glen is amazing. And it's a racetrack that every driver wants to win at.
And if there's a red flag and you stop along this straightaway, a fan can come over and ask you for your autograph.
Absolutely.
We saw Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth had a visitor as he sat waiting for the red flag to be lifted, about right there on the racetrack, in fact. But that was late on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm sure there was a couple of beers involved.
Might be a little harder these days with all the catch fences.
Yeah. But I love this place, man. I love the vibe. This is a great day for the trucks, and looking forward to see. I don't think there's a strategy play here, Joey. I think your leaders all pit. Guys that have already pitted obviously will stay out. We'll see what happens here.
I think so. It looks like they're all pitting here.
Well, certainly didn't take long for the drama to build as we hit pit road. We've already had a change at that 10th and final playoff spot with Chandler Smith slipping below the cut line and Derek Kraus above it. Let's go to pit road for Regan.
Vince, it couldn't have been a more perfect first stage for Derek Kraus. Did exactly what they wanted. Chandler Smith had problems. They almost maximized the points. That truck right now a little bit too tight through the right-handers. The two truck on the right hand of the screen, Sheldon Creed, that truck has been locking up the right front too much. Needs a brake adjustment to help that out. Jamie?
For Todd Gilliland, he reported to the team that the overall balance feels pretty good. If anything was going to help him, it was going to be just some more stability and possibly some more rear grip, but he's pretty happy with the truck that he has, and there's a clean stop.
They're hitting on all cylinders at 38. And how about all the action in the bus stop? Boy, it has been fun, and it's just getting started at the Glen.
No, 32.
Back at Watkins Glen, getting ready to get the green flag to start stage number 2. Jack Wood and Carson Hocevar on the front row to get things started. Jack Wood, by the way, there on the left-hand side of the screen, celebrating his 21st birthday today. See if they can make it through turn 1.
Nice birthday present, wouldn't it, Vince? You can even drink the champagne. Look at that run into 1 by Hocevar. I said, if it sticks, it's going to be good, but it didn't quite stick. Is he going to hold the lead?
There hasn't been anyone that has driven into turn 1 any harder than Hocevar on the 3 restarts so far. And it worked out for him.
Zane Smith heating him up in that second position. Sam Mayer all the way from out back, Vince, into third.
Here they go down into the bus stop again, some 2 wide. And this is where it just has to be some give and take to get through here.
Parker Kligerman in the 75, the black truck there. He also started well back in the field. He's battled his way forward. Just ahead of him in the 5th position is John Hunter. Saw his problems on lap 1. Been able to overcome those issues.
Zane Smith running second. This 1 year, exactly 1 year to the day that he scored his first Camping World Truck Series win. Did that at Michigan last year. Got the same sponsor, same paint scheme, everything on the truck. And just so happened to be 1 year to the very day. And he like nothing more than to repeat as winner as he makes that move on Hocevar for the lead. Zane Smith in the 21.
Wow, great racing here at the Glen. Hocevar has a nice run going in the 42, but I'm watching Austin Hill in the 16. He's 4th, and he just closed right up on our trio of leaders. You talked about the draft. Look at that draft Mayer's using down the back.
And they're on the gas for such a long time. Get in there, outbrake him. That's textbook right there.
Good job by Sam Mayer. A couple of teenagers right there doing battle. The 32 and the 42.
Something I can't help but notice with this 32 truck of Sam Mayer. Look how high the splitter is on that truck. It is gapping a ton.
How about more on Mayer with Jamie?
Well, Sam Mayer started dead last in this race, and he said, you know, when you can come up through the field, it really shows something the team and the driver have been able to put together. We've seen that already in the first stage. They were expecting it to take a little bit longer to get up there, but he felt like the team was really in a good position for today based off of all of the preparations, and that this time, for this race today, they could be on the offensive and not so much have to be on the defensive and just standing by and waiting. So lots of good things to come for Sam Mayer.
Talented driver, of course, won last year at Bristol.
I mean, when you're a kid and you win at Bristol, I mean, the rest of the world just seems like it should just come to you, shouldn't it, Joey? That's about as good as it gets.
That's a cool place to win.
You know, you mentioned that nose. That's strange. It's so high, and usually when we see that, when they go to the corners to brake, it drops down. But his doesn't ever do that.
It should seal off at some point, which, one, he's got some damage there on the right front headlight. I don't think that would knock the splitter up that high. I don't know if they missed the heights that bad. Either way, I know that's not a good thing. And he's still ripping. So there's some. Imagine if they had that thing sealed off. Oh boy.
What you drivers don't know won't hurt you.
That's the truth. He has no idea.
That is crazy.
I guess he can clear the curbs better.
He is hounding Zane Smith, our race leader.
Austin Hill made his way around Carson Hocevar as well. Try to run down our front 2.
Austin Hill, I think necessarily known as a road course racer when he began his Truck Series career, but he's been top 10 in 4 of the 5 road courses that he has run. And of course, wasn't known as a dirt track racer either that he won at Knoxville, so good for Austin Hill. He and his wife, by the way, announced over the course of the 3-4 week break that they are expecting their 3rd child, so congratulations to the Hills. And congratulations, speaking of 3rd child, to you, Joey.
Thank you. We got another one on the way.
Got one coming.
Hang on tight. This one's a girl, so I'm really in for it.
Well, the 2 boys will be
I got a lot
good
to
big
learn.
brothers.
That's right.
Your wife's just thankful it's not another boy. Then she'd have 4 boys to take care of.
Oh, you imagine? Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. We got some trouble coming out of the bus stop here.
Tanner Gray,
Tanner
15.
around. Haley Deegan was in that little battle. Oh, inside for the lead.
Taking a look is Mayer and Austin Hill going around. Mayer now for second, or trying to anyway. Mayer's going to hold him off for now.
Wow.
That run off the top is able to keep him in position. You know, that's kind of the thing. You go in there trying to make a pass, you lose your momentum, and the next thing you know, you're getting attacked from behind.
Zane Smith still holding on, and that 21 as the leader.
Nobody's driving away this time. We saw that big gap that Todd Gillen was able to put on the field to win the first stage. Todd is currently riding outside of the top 10 and 12.
And that's what we talked about. If you're going to stay out and grab those stage points, you're going to pay the penalty at some point. And that's why you see him back here in 12th. Here you see the wreck in the bus stop.
19 of Derek Kraus. Had a little fender on the 15 of Gray. And Kraus, one of those trying desperately to win this race to get his way into the playoffs. Or, you know, earlier he had pointed enough, taken advantage of that 18 of Chandler Smith's issues, mechanical issues that he was having early. And Kraus had slipped above the cut line there momentarily, but right now Smith is in 10th and Kraus is in 11th.
And Smith has also been in the free pass position. He's 33rd, the first truck a lap down, so he would love to see a caution flag right now and put the start of this race behind him. Get back on the lead lap. We know he's going to be fast enough to move up if he gets there. Just be depending on if that caution flies before our leaders catch another truck and put him a lap down.
And Austin Hill got back to second place here. Somewhere within all this.
Man, he's been impressive. I like when you see things you don't expect, don't you? I mean, we watch so many races and we think we know what's going to go on. There's Derek Kraus on pit road. Has he got damage?
Well, you see a little damage on the nose of that truck, but the bigger problem, Michael, is that he had grass all over the grill. He had another truck that was overheating because of the grass. Tough break for him after what was a good first stage.
Well, and Austin Hill has now gone around Zane Smith. So, Mike, you said it. Austin Hill really impressive here early on. Continues to be impressive on the road courses. And, in fact, I think Hill is peaking at the right time this season. They haven't had the win prior to getting that first victory of the season at Knoxville. But they have run pretty well and been in a position to win multiple times where they kind of stubbed their own toe. They felt like if they could clean that stuff up, they'd maybe have a better chance of winning some more races.
I mean, this is a scrappy bunch too, Vince. Scott Zipadelli, that whole team that Zipadelli runs is just all about Austin Hill and doing everything he needs to get there.
Derek Kraus, we saw him on pit road just a moment ago. One of those trying to battle for a playoff spot, penalized for too fast exiting.
And that's what's so, gosh, you're in these positions, you know, you're trying to get all these points you can. The last thing you can do is take your points away.
It is full contact racing at the Glen. You better be ready for it. Back to Watkins Glen. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Racing, presented by Blue Emu. Stage 2. Todd Gilliland won stage 1 and then pitted at the end of the stage. He currently runs 11th. Austin Hill is the leader. Sam Mayer runs second. Both those guys, by the way, competed in the ARCA race last night, and several drivers looking for an opportunity to get some laps, especially with no practice, as the truck drivers experienced that earlier today. No practice, so might as well run the ARCA race, get some laps in, and it's paying off for these guys.
Absolutely. Seat time means so much, especially in this day and age when you said it. There's no practice anymore. The more you can get in the seat of a race car, any kind on that type of racetrack, is going to pay a reward. And you see that through the field. You see it on the Cup field. The drivers that race more usually have a bit of an advantage. We may see that again tomorrow after the Xfinity race here later today.
Check out this long list of drivers that competed here last night, and you can tell they've taken that experience and utilized it to solid runs. This is a guy that has more experience than I think about anyone, Regan Smith, on these road courses. And AJ was complaining earlier about his truck. How's it going now?
Well, Michael, things are getting a little bit better. Early on, they had to pit to clean the grill of that truck off. When they did that, they knocked much of the tape on the front of the truck off. They pitted during the most recent stage break to add that tape back. He couldn't get the front end to work, couldn't get it to turn. Well, now you see AJ starting to make some noise. That truck's getting better. He's getting happier. Jamie?
For Austin Hill, we saw him make a little bit of an early stop in that first stage. He noticed, sitting behind Todd Gilliland, that Todd was able to turn in just a little bit better than he was. They worked on that at the break. Austin's much happier with the truck that he has now in the second stage. But this morning, the biggest thing on his mind were the overall championship point standings. He said mathematically, by the end of today, he could go into the playoffs in the second position, and that was their goal.
Joey, you talked about that at the start. Everybody knows their situation, and they look at those points and say, how do I get one spot better? What do we do to accomplish that? There's so many differing agendas, especially in a race like this, the playoff, this regular season finale, and these guys try to take advantage of it.
It's like this on these road courses these days, too. When you add the stages, you have to make a decision. Do I want stage points? Do I want a chance to get a playoff point? Or do I want a good finish? And a lot of that depends on the speed of your car, right? If you feel like your truck's not fast enough to win, well, maybe you go take that playoff point and stay out in that stage, possibly. It all just depends on your situation, the speed in your car, your points spots, all that kind of, how fast you can come through the field, what you think tire wear is going to look like. And those are all questions we have for tomorrow's race as well, of how we want to play that race. So you end up having an A, B, and a C plan.
See our playoff grid there on the left-hand side of the pylon. John Hunter Nemechek with those 34 playoff points. That's going to be huge for him, and that doesn't include the 15 he's going to get for winning the regular season title. And Ben Rhodes, Todd Gilliland right on down, and currently Hocevar, Friesen, and Smith are the three trying to secure those final three playoff positions. And so far, so good for those three.
Yeah, but it's a rocky road around that bubble, Vince. We still see Chandler Smith a lap down. Hasn't found the caution flag he's been looking for to get back on the lead lap. And just ahead of Chandler is the 49 of Roos. And he doesn't have the pace, it doesn't appear, to stay on the lead lap. That's going to mess the free pass opportunity up for the Chandler Smith team.
How about Carson Hocevar? He's dropped back to the 10th position, Regan.
Vince, you mentioned that he's faded since this most recent restart of the race. Just reported to the team a lap ago, my brakes are too hot. He's having to pump the brake pedal. So many things to worry about on a road course. That's the one thing you don't want to worry about, is pumping the brake pedal going into the corners.
Oh, and it just seems like a slippery slope from that point. It's a long race. You have a long ways to go. Your brakes are already overheating. You're trying to take care of them. He's done a good job, and he's made a lot of passes from using those brakes. And he might have used them up a little bit early, but it looks like there may be some tape on the grill still that they can take off to maybe cool those brakes a little bit better. But at this point, it's kind of damage control for him. Don't cook the brakes to where they won't come back. Survive through the stage, get some tape off of it, and then go at it again.
On board with Stuart Friesen. What do you say we take a lap around this 2.45 mile road course, 7 turns with the 52.
Yeah, the first thing you hear, he's on the chip hard down into turn 6. This is turn 7, the final corner onto the front stretch. It's always kind of free in, and then as you accelerate, usually it's loose off as well down to turn 1.
Let's listen to him as he goes up through the gears and brakes for this tough turn 1. You can hear him wanting to get on that gas, but then you can also hear all that power spinning the rear tires.
Yep, and you hear him just feathered a little bit down there in turn 2, a little bit on the top here at turn 3. Grab high gear.
Right when you're sideways the most, you need to take a hand off the wheel and shift.
It's perfect.
We need to redesign that.
This is when you look at the markers on the left. Where can I start hitting the brakes again here? Kill this first curve, run it over. The second one, try to stay left as far as you can to try to straight shot it out there. A little bit wide in the third curve there, but you try to hold it so you can straight line that thing as best you can. Roll through the carousel.
Listen to him work this gas. Yeah, he short shifted there just to get the power to the ground. Good job.
Listen, hit the chip here again. Oh, he rolled out a little bit.
That's eventful, isn't it, Vince? We're only going to do that 100 times or so.
There's a lot of, the thing that impressed me the most, all the opportunities to screw up.
Yeah.
That's what qualifying's like at a road course. It's like, I hit a couple good corners and the rest of them, oh. Can I try again?
Let's see, there's 72 laps times about 10 or 15 times a lap where you can screw up. That gives you a lot of opportunities.
I like to think of the opportunities to be great.
There you go.
That's what I think.
That's why you're a champion, Joey.
Austin Hill's the leader, and that's Sam Mayer. We're going to come back and start getting ready for the next round of pit stops just ahead here from the Glen. Coming down to the final laps here in stage 2 at Watkins Glen, the Camping World Truck Series regular season finale, and it's the 75 truck of Parker Kligerman just ahead of Tyler Ankrum, great view from the bumper cam.
As many people have run into stuff with their bumpers, I appreciate Tyler not taking our camera out with him. I think he's got some damage up there as well.
This is 8th and 7th. Kligerman running 7th, and Ankrum taking a look. That's Sheldon Creed now just ahead in the 2 truck. Kligerman able to hold off Ankrum for now. You see 6 laps left here in stage 2.
This is when some strategy could play out. I talked about earlier, Vince, the last stage being 27 laps. That's about on our fuel window. If guys pit a couple of laps before this stage break, it could get interesting, dicey on making it on gas, but that's probably the strategy that's going to win the race. Wouldn't you guess, Joey?
I think you have to. Look at what Todd Gilliland's at right now. He's stopped at 11th. He won the first stage by 6 seconds. He was way out there. Now he's stopped at 11. Track position is king right now. And when I think of coming down to the end of the stage, there's not an option. If you want to win the race, you have to pit before the end of the stage and cycle yourself forward.
Yeah, and I think we'll see that as well. Gilliland in the red 38, just ahead of him is the 51 of Corey Heim, who won the ARCA race last night.
Corey Heim was also very impressive at Darlington, had a chance to win that race late.
More on our stage 1 winner, Gilliland with Jamie.
We talk about how important track position is, but what's equally or probably more so important is fuel pressure, and that's what's plaguing Todd Gilliland right now. It started to show its head at the end of the first stage when that tank gets low. He's just not getting enough fuel into the engine, and at the end of this second stage, it seems like that problem might be creeping back up.
So you've got about, what, an 18-gallon tank. You're getting about 4 miles to gallon. And
don't make me and Joey do math.
No,
all I'm saying is you want it all. when they told us that you got 28 laps of fuel or so in your fuel window, and you're trying to make that final stage, and you need a couple more laps than that even, and you're not getting it all out of the tank, that ties your hands on what your race strategy is going to be for Todd Gilliland.
Let me ask you this. How about, I'm curious what your opinion is. When you say track position is king, is it aerodynamics that hold you back, or is it the sight line, the visual of not being able to do just what you want to do, or is it a combination?
It's everything. Nothing good happens when you get further back in the pack, right? You're forced to run your truck harder. You're going to heat up your tires, your brakes. You're using your truck up more. Your truck doesn't cool as well because you don't have the air on it, so your brakes are getting hotter and those type of things. And there's just dirty air, right, where you just have dirty air. And you don't have as much downforce. Regan?
Joey, the 21 is Zane Smith pitting a little bit early right here. Came on the radio as they were coming through the carousel and said it's missing like it's out of fuel. Seems a little bit early to be missing like it's out of fuel right now.
Well, and with 4 laps to go in the stage, I think that plays right to what you were saying, Michael. If you're talking about 28, maybe even 29 laps on a tank of fuel, 4 laps is early, right? Jamie on Mayer in the 32.
It was a quick in and out stop for Sam Mayer. They knew they needed to get that track position you guys were talking about, so made the decision to go ahead and stop, get that fresh rubber on. But they told him from the get-go, you're going to have to work on saving your fuel.
You know, with this with 4 to go, you might as well start saving fuel right now. You're not going to get any points most likely in this stage. Save what you can these next 4 laps. Set yourself up better late in the race.
Yeah, this is a time where you just want to basically stay on the lead lap, or just go as slow as you can and maintain where you're at, just to take care of those tires. As you see, as we suspected, all these teams pitting prior to the end of this stage. We've had a lot of green flag racing events today since we got started. Had a lot of action, but some green flag racing. It'll be interesting to see how this 3rd stage plays out.
Yeah, we've seen a few incidents, but the green has stayed out, which has been nice. How about the 16, Jamie?
Austin Hill had the best 10-lap average during the 2nd stage, and he did it with such a lead that he was afforded the opportunity to save that fuel, which is going to make this stop just a little bit quicker for the number 16, no adjustment.
There's the 23 of Allmendinger. Driving, if you're just joining us, for Chase Purdy. Purdy unable to compete because of COVID protocols, so Allmendinger running double duty today. He'll run the Xfinity race after this. Currently second in the Xfinity Series playoff standing.
Does anyone find it funny as rookie stripes on the back of his truck?
He's a seasoned veteran.
He is not a rookie. Maybe in this series.
Yeah. More on Allmendinger with Regan.
Joey, I feel like I've got rookie stripes on pit road. It has been so crazy busy down here today. Another truck having an issue right now, though. The 23 of A.J. Allmendinger, the right front of that truck, he said a few laps ago, it feels like something is broke. This thing is bouncing up and down a ton right now, so it's not all fun and games for the 23 of A.J. right now. Jamie?
For John Hunter Nemechek making his way to pit lane from the race lead just before the end of the second stage. This is a brand new road course truck that Kyle Busch Motorsports built. They had already locked up the regular season championship point standings, but it was just a nod to the guys that never quit. They knew that there was more that they could accomplish before we get to the playoffs, and that's what they're looking to do. They overcame the contact in the first turn at the start of this race, and no rub. Very clean 4-tire stop for John Hunter Nemechek.
And remember that the pits close with 2 to go at the end of each stage, so that's why they had to get those pit stops in now.
I take back what I said about giving up stage points and pit early. The whole field pitted, and Austin Hill cycled back to the lead again. So nobody took the risk or the free points, the free playoff point that might be there in front of them, and cycle themselves back. They all decided, you know what, we're going to pit, set ourselves up to win. And Austin Hill's going to get both. He's going to have track position starting the final stage, and he's most likely going to win this stage.
And we see that week to week. I mean, you got to set yourself up for the finish, right?
Absolutely. And you can tell everyone's kind of saving fuel here. It doesn't look like the pace is very fast right now.
Got to be a great feeling, though, for Austin Hill to have this type of truck under him. He's been in control of this race since the end of stage 1, and he's got a lot of company, though, just behind him. That's 18 of Chandler Smith. He needs that spot to get back on the lead lap.
Back downstairs to Jamie on Hill.
With all the hustle of the pit stops behind Austin Hill now, Scott Zipadelli on the radio saying, you're out front by a country mile. Don't do anything silly out there. Told him, just save my truck, save your fuel, and save your tires.
Yeah, and somebody that's on the opposite agenda, Jamie, is that 18 truck of Smith. This is a big moment in this race for him. He needs to get around Hill here. If not, he'll have to take the free pass, which gets him back on the lead lap as well, but he'll lose all the track position that he could gain if he can make this move.
Yeah, and if you're Austin Hill here, I wouldn't race him too hard in this position. Save your truck, save your fuel, keep everything going. You're not gaining a whole bunch by keeping that 18 truck down a lap.
Chandler Smith got in that position, had a mechanical issue early in the race, spent some considerable time on pit road as the team went through the truck trying to make sure that they had it properly repaired and diagnosed.
There's the move. Nice
now
job.
Back on the lead lap is the 18 of Smith, who also resides on the playoff bubble, by the way.
Just in time, too.
Yep. Coming to the green and white checkers for Austin Hill, and it will be his first stage win of the season for the 16.
This team is really coming into their own as we race toward these playoffs. Love where Austin Hill and this Atori Racing Group is at.
I would agree with you, Mike. Don't count them out for the championship. Don't count them out for the race win at Watkins Glen. After winning in Knoxville, that would be 2 in a row. Good look inside the workspace for Tyler Ankrum. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Ankrum running 6th as we get ready for this third and final stage here in the Camping World Truck Series and regular season finale. You see the points earned today. Sheldon Creed has earned the most. Todd Gilliland won stage 1. Austin Hill just won stage 2. Chandler Smith continues to sit on the bubble, plus 18, and Tyler Ankrum is on the outside looking in at minus 18. And we came into the race saying those that were below the cut line for the most part had to win, and nothing has really changed at this point, my opinion of that. So the Ankrams and the Krauses and the Souders of the world, yeah, they.
Chandler Smith made it interesting for a while, but he's rebounded nicely back on the lead lap. Come in against some fresh tires.
I mean, as we sit right now, though, looking at the points, he's in by 18 points. That's just one little mistake away. A couple other guys gained some spots. Uh-oh, right? I mean,
we're not comfortable. We're just feeling better about things.
We've seen things like this happen, whether it's in the trucks, Xfinity, or Cup, on these cutoff races. We'll see this throughout the playoffs as well, where you start the race and you feel like you're in a pretty good spot. I got 30 points over the cut line. I'll be all right. And then next thing you know, I'm 6 points out. What do you mean I'm 6 points out? Like, you know, like things happen quick. That's why you got to watch these things. You never know what's going to happen.
I'm really interested in watching the 23 of A.J. Allmendinger when we go back green for this final stage, because he's fought himself into contention. He's coming to pit road.
By the way, the 3 truck of Bobby Roos, going to be a driver change. Roos is not feeling well, so he's going to get out of the truck, and Jordan Anderson is going to climb in. So if you're fans of Jordan and his team, take note of that.
This is an interesting play here.
Some coming to pit road and some staying out. I think, well, those that pitted a couple of laps before the end of the stage, no reason for them to come in. Maybe others want to just top off, or we're seeing some take tires, get that final pit stop in now.
Yeah, I'm interested in AJ. I thought he was poised and set. There you see the 3, and there's Jordan Anderson.
Regan.
Well, it's been every possible emotion today in the 18 pit of Chandler Smith. They've been happy, they've been sad again, and then happy again. Right now, though, they used their strategy to get this truck back onto the lead lap, stayed out during that last cycle, during the last stage, got the lap back. They feel good about that. The mechanical issues on the truck are getting better as we see them working on the left front again right now, but they felt better about the mechanical issues. They're trying to just dial the truck in a little bit more so that he can make his way into the playoffs.
You can see, Regan, they got both sides of the truck jacked up there. Still must be something going on with the left front that the team's not comfortable with, or maybe since they have this time, Joey, they're just surveying and make sure they're in a good spot.
I think they're taking their time. You get a long lap around Watkins Glen here. If you just got an elite lap, you're going to start towards the back anyway. Just make sure it's right. There's the driver change going on over here.
Yeah, in this final stage, I mean, it is the longest of the 3. It's 27 laps. The first stage was 20, the second stage 25, and this one at 27 laps gives you a little extra work time.
Yeah, I love mac and cheese, don't you, Vince?
Like a little
lobster in your mac and cheese, maybe?
Yeah.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. And, we have a lot of fun here in the booth and with the races, and we hope you do too as a viewer. But if I can just take it for a serious moment, each race we have a group of folks that help us bring these races to you, the viewer, specifically here in the booth, our stats and research group from Racing Insights. And Russell Winrick is the leader of that group, and we got word this morning that Russell's father, Ron, passed away unexpectedly overnight. And hard for all of us because Russell means so much to us, and we're thinking of Russell and his family during this very difficult time.
We love you, buddy. Appreciate all you do for us, Russell, and we're with your family.
Clear that lump in my throat, and we'll get ready for this third and final stage here at Watkins Glen. We saw A.J. Allmendinger come to pit road a bit unexpectedly. What's going on with the 23, Regan?
Well, Vince, we saw that first unexpected stop during the stage break, then came back down pit road again. They are still having issues with the front of that truck. They can't exactly diagnose it. It's been bouncing around. As we reported during the green flag stops, it was bouncing severely on him. He felt like something was broke then, continues to feel like something is broke. So a tough break for this team. Anytime you have A.J. Allmendinger in your truck, you feel really good about things. Tough break for them here today.
It still makes you wonder, though. I mean, he was third.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't driving the way he wanted it to. It makes you wonder how bad it really was, or what they're trying to accomplish. Because with 24 laps to go, starting in the back, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to catch up all the way around here before they go back green. He's going to have his work cut out for him to get back into the top 10.
Well, we didn't see him blow through the field earlier in the race either, Joey, so it's only going to get tougher.
Unless they fixed it. Maybe they are really ripped now.
Coming to the green for the third and final stage, the regular season finale. Who's going to fill those final three playoff positions? Austin Hill leading the way down into turn one.
Everyone wanting to get control of the race, taking that lead here would be huge. You get that clean air and protect your car for 23 laps.
John Hunter Nemechek has made his way up toward the front. He's battling there for second with Zane Smith, and he cuts the nose of Smith and takes second.
Clear.
The spotter can't see right there, I tell you that much. That was all by feel.
Clear, maybe?
Yeah, ish. We've seen that through John Hunter. He's been an aggressive driver all year long, and it's been paying for him.
42 of Hocevar.
32 of Mayer. Yeah. Talked about him a lot early, but haven't spoken of him lately, but he's in a great spot as well.
Inside the top 10. How about Mayer, Jamie?
Well, the team was trying to get Sam Mayer to bring that truck to pit lane when we were under caution for the stage break. They wanted to just top it off with fuel. Remember, he stopped 4 laps before the end of the second stage. Unfortunately, after that pit stop, he's developed an issue with the radio, so the team can actually not communicate with him. They think that his button is stuck down, so he's unable to hear anything that they're saying. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble for the end of this race for Sam Mayer.
Well, speaking of Sam Mayer, Michael and I are over here with our hands up in the air, kind of confused. You look at the splitter, we were talking about how high it was early in the race. Now it's on the ground. It's where it's supposed to be. I don't know what happened.
And they fixed it. It was up all the way around the track, and now it's down. Regan, we're going to need to report on that one. I don't know how that happened.
That's a lot of grass on the grill, too. You're going to have to pit for that grass. It's going to overheat quick. Wow. That's a lot of grass.
What about the complexities of winning one of these darn road races? You got so many variables, so many factors that can reach up and bite you.
Limiting mistakes on road courses is half the battle. You got to be fast, yes, but keeping fenders on it, keeping it on the road without getting grass and all that, that is 80% of these races.
Wow, strong move there by Mayer. Able to dive under Carson Hocevar.
He's got a lot of downforce right now. Things taped up solid.
He's feeling it.
Feels like he's got a whole new truck out there.
Hey.
Gill continues to lead early laps here in the final stage of Watkins Glen.
What about Todd Gilliland? We talked about him being stalled out at about the 11th or 12th position. Now he's inside the top 10, trying to fight his way back forward, battling hard there with Ankrum. Looks like he's faster than Tyler. Couldn't do anything with him there.
That's Gilliland in the red 38. Got the Crosley branding on it this week. What a great second half of the season it's been for Todd Gilliland.
Oh boy.
Got off track a little bit there and having to get back on the course all over the bumper of Ankrum. Mayer looking for an opportunity to take advantage. Parker Kligerman in that black 75 right there behind the 32 of Mayer. Riding on board with Ankrum now, looking back out at Gilliland.
Business definitely picking up here. There's not much give and take. It's take and take at this point.
Camping World 20 to go. 20 laps remaining in the regular season for the Camping World Truck Series. Three playoff spots still up for grabs. Carson Hocevar, Stuart Friesen, Chandler Smith each have their hands on them right now, trying to avoid disaster here at the finish.
Chandler Smith's been trying to avoid disaster since the first lap. He's been able to rally. Got back on the lead lap, currently up to the 22nd position, and has good pace. So I think the 18 truck, barring any other issues, is looking pretty good.
Yeah, the only real issue, I mean, Hocevar is plus 60. He's in good shape. You think Friesen at plus 46 is in good shape. But Chandler Smith is in that 10th spot. So if a driver below that cut line, an Ankrum or a Derek Kraus, would happen to come up and win this race, then that driver in the 10th position, which currently is that 18 of Chandler Smith, he'd be out.
But you say Ankrum, he's in 5th place.
Yeah.
All it takes is a restart and everyone driving down into turn 1 like we've seen twice already in this race. Imagine if that was the end of the race, how much more aggressive they would be. You might be in the catbird seat if you're sitting 5th place down on the inside lane.
I just like what Smith's doing right here. He's passing trucks, going around everybody he catches. That's Kraus he's disposing up there. Up ahead is Truex. He's just going about his business. He can't worry about who's going to win. He just knows what he has to do. And I like what this young man is doing.
And a really strong run for Chandler Smith at Knoxville in the most recent race. Led 71 laps. Of course, a completely different race that was. Obviously, it was an oval on dirt, but finished second. And I think we've seen his confidence just continue to build throughout this second half of the season.
You know what I love about the Truck Series? We get these kids. We don't know a whole lot about them when they show up. Oh, Derek Kraus.
And there goes
in the wall.
Playoff hopes.
That's it.
They were dim, and that little bit of light has been extinguished, I believe, with that issue right there for the 19. Well, how about Derek Kraus? He missed the playoffs by just 13 points last year, and right there to the very last race, trying to get in this season as well, and it's going to end up in a disappointment.
Tell you that NASCAR has done so good with these playoffs. You know, these cutoff races and doing these every three races. It's so intense, do or die moments. You see drivers pushing really, really hard, making mistakes.
Looks like a right front tire down there, result of some contact, I'm sure. He's just trying to limp it back to the pit.
I want to just clarify, did a driver just say NASCAR's really done a really good job? I just want to make sure. Did we hear that properly?
I don't pick on them that hard. Not that hard. Every now and again there's something, but for the most part, I think they've done a good job. You know, they took a lot of drivers' input on these playoffs, so I think I might take a little credit. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go.
I'm just kidding. Everybody helped out.
I knew we would get to the bottom of this.
It does work really good.
NASCAR's been doing pretty good for about 60-some years.
Yeah, I think
Seems
they've
like
done
it,
all
doesn't
right. Yeah. Through lots of different generations of drivers. fitting that the driver of the United Rentals truck is leading the race for the United Rentals 176 at the Glen. United Rentals, such a big part of the program for Austin Hill. And he's out front with 17 to go. Let's go down to Jamie.
Well, Austin Hill also has the confidence of knowing the tires underneath them are performing just as expected. For Goodyear, trucks haven't raced here in 20 years, so they were a little behind on which tires they were going to bring. Fortunately for them, Cup and Xfinity have been racing here at Watkins Glen, so they went with the exact same tire that they've been using. If you take a look at these, this is the set of tires that came off of Austin's truck. There's very little wear. You could actually put these back on if the race was any longer. It's a very similar construction to the tire that they use on the Rovals at Daytona, but it's a much beefier compound just because of the loads and the speeds that we experience here at Watkins Glen. But everything's going well so far.
Thank you, Jamie. And Joey, of course, you'll be racing at the Glen again. You're getting to sit here and watch it, and then you'll be actually on course on Sunday. Do you like racing here?
I love Watkins Glen. I think it's a fun road course. It's so fast. You know, we go to all these other different road courses. You know, some have fast sections, some have, you know, slower corners. This place is fast all the way through. You know, these next couple weeks, you know, you have Watkins Glen followed up with another road course at Indy for the first time there. There's a lot to learn in a short period of time. These road courses that have been added to our schedules are fun, and I think we're seeing it here today. It's because the racing's good. That's why we keep adding more and more road courses. The fans like it. It's entertaining as you can ever imagine. And here's Tyler Ankrum trying to get his way in. He's got his chance here to try to win this race. Might not be in the preferred groove, but I might think that those two up front might have a little contact here with a few laps to go.
Yeah, there's probably going to be several grooves when they get down toward turn one, with trucks occupying each of those, maybe even 4 wide, as the pressure and the excitement, adrenaline, all that's ramping up right now. They know what's just out there ahead of them.
And if you're Tyler, you have nothing to lose. If you finish second, it's no different than finishing 40th or 36th. Trucks around here. So you might as well just go for it. You got 0 to lose.
I guarantee you those two guys on the front are going to go for it. Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek. They cross the line, there will be 16 to go.
I was going to say, Austin Hill's just been perfect today, Vince. Let's see if he can continue to be that way, because he's getting ready to get heated up.
This drop down into turn one has been a big spot of contention. A lot of contact down there today, but it looks like everybody's going to make their way through it this time.
Side by side for second.
Creed was challenging.
Oh,
Nemechek, but Nemechek able to hold him off. Got some weather in the area, we're told, as well. So, boy, wouldn't that be something if all of a sudden we started getting some rain. And remember, as we see the windshield wiper go on the 26 of Ankrum, that they can put rain tires on here on the road course.
After seeing his windshield wiper, he is praying for dry weather.
It didn't bring any confidence to you that
I
was
would
going to work.
that.
Wonder if any of those crew chiefs were meteorologists, Joey, and had their trucks sort of set up for this late afternoon thunderstorm. See if we can see somebody that hadn't been so fast have a good run on the rain tires if it were to happen.
That would be surprising, but maybe.
Uh-oh.
I saw some contact back there with Carson Hostbar.
He was able to hang on to it, racing inside of Josh Berry. Josh in the 25.
Well, what a great opportunity Barry is getting this season, not only in the truck, but he subbed for Michael Lynette in the Xfinity car in New Hampshire for Dale Jr. And I think it's been great to see Josh get the opportunity, and certainly seeing the talent on this national stage that we've been confident that he has in some of the regional tracks.
It's tight, 2 wide through the S's. That's tight. Going to have a run on Haley Deegan here as well. The Stuart Friesen. She's blocking the bottom hard. She blocked really well. He didn't even make the move.
Yeah, I don't think he knew which way she was going to go next, so he finally said, I better just follow her, because that was a nice job of blocking. You're going to have blocking in NASCAR, right, Joey?
It's part of the game.
The 99 at Ben Rhodes. Haven't talked much about Rhodes today. And there's the 66 of Paul Menard. Haven't mentioned his name often either. Boy, a lot of experience here at Watkins Glen for Menard between the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. 67 starts as he slips behind Ankrum. Wow. Paul up into the 8th position. Ankrum running 7th. Remember, Ankrum got a win to get in. And a lot of good trucks up ahead of him. He's going to have to pass to do it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of company behind him, too. You can see Hocevar behind a couple of trucks there.
I think Ankrum, when I see what he has to do, he has to be focused on trying to get to that 5th spot at least. Get yourself on the inside lane, try to outbrake someone on a restart. From 6th, you really can't do it. 5th, maybe you can get a shot at getting down in there and have a chance to win this thing. From 7th, I don't see you doing it.
We come through the bus stop. Less than 15 to go. Racing for the Camping World Truck Series here at Watkins Glen for the first time in 21 years.
Joey, we talked about how fast Todd Gillen was in that first stage. He's gotten himself up inside the top 5. With that type of track position, with the pace that he has, we better keep our eye on the 38 truck. He could do something with these leaders.
14 laps at Watkins Glen's a long time. Don't count any of these guys out. He's only 1.3 seconds back. It's close.
And he was fastest truck last time by.
Taking a break and coming back, looking forward to a dramatic finish at the Glen. And you see the yellow flag out here at Watkins Glen, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Just 11 laps remaining, and the caution is out because of lightning in the area. And it's caused us to pull some of our camera operators from their position. But but we were still able to continue with the broadcast and the race, obviously, and then the lightning has gotten even closer, so the caution has come out. What's this do from a driver's perspective? I mean, we're just a little over 10 laps to go. They're going to come to pit road. Obviously, the red's going to come out.
Well, it gives you an opportunity to come up with a game plan. You know, they're going to go to pit road, like you said. The red's going to come out. You're going to have a chance to take a breather, gather your thoughts, figure out what you have to do to go out there and win. Probably not going to pit at this moment, so you're not going to really have the opportunity to adjust on your car or your truck or do anything like that. But at least kind of picturing what the restart's going to look like. Who is around me? What can I do to try to get through turn 1 and up through the S's and position myself for the bus stop for that restart? That is what you probably obsess over for the next 30 minutes until you really get everything, a chance to fire it off again.
I think I mentioned it earlier, crew chiefs and most of them think they're meteorologists anyway. You know, they watch the weather, they understand they have to understand what's happening with these storm clouds. And as I look at my radar, there's a storm in the area. If it clips us, those summer storms that pop up, whether it clips us or not, it's unclear to me at this moment. But I think that becomes, if you're Scott Zipadelli, Austin Hill's crew chief, you're like, what are we going to do? If it rains, are we going to go back racing? There's another race coming up. I've got a lot of things, a lot of plans I better have tentatively in place to make sure I can get to checkered flag and win this race. And it has to do right now mostly with the weather.
It's like a big timeout, right, Joey? I mean, it's an opportunity for, you see other sports where teams go to the sideline or, huddle and
right.
kind of come up with the plan, and you don't get that opportunity in racing very often. But as you said, you're not going to work on the truck under red, but you do have an opportunity to get out of the truck and talk with your crew chief and your engineer.
And get a game plan. Yeah. But the only difference between other sports and this sport, the field might change here in a second. You're going to a whole different ball court. If it starts to rain, it's different. So, but you imagine, how about the final race of the regular season, drivers trying to make it in right on the cutoff spot, and then let's just end it in the rain. Oh, boy, talk about a recipe for disaster.
Well, some are hoping that it does rain, and some are hoping, please don't let it rain. So you see them coming down pit road. They're going to come to a stop, and we're going to be in a weather delay.
See if we can get a word with Austin Hill. He's leading this race, got it in hand. Everything was looking good. Austin Hill, Michael Waltrip, Joey Logano, and the Fox team. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you, Michael.
Well, you dirt racer, you road racer, you win at Daytona. You've getting it done everywhere we go, and I want to say congratulations to that. Now I want to say, are you a good weatherman? What's going to happen?
Man, I see lightning strikes everywhere, so I think they should just call it and be done. I'm trying to keep my head on straight. It makes it tough when you're only 10 to go, and caution like this comes out, and we don't know if we're going to go back green or not. So, it's tough. Our United Reynolds Toyota Tundra's been good all day. There's been a few spots on the racetrack we want to be a little bit better, but all in all, it's been a solid day for us. So, we'll see what happens here and go from there. But it kind of sucks that we just couldn't stay green there. But thanks for everybody for tuning in, all the fans, and we'll see what happens.
Real quickly, I wanted to know, it looks like a thrill ride from TV. You're bouncing over curbs, breaking into those corners. How much fun is it out there, especially when you're as fast as you are?
Well, anytime you can bounce some curves and do all those things, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot more fun when you're leading the pack. So hopefully we can stay up here, stay up in the lead. But, man, it's a blast. I love Watkins Glen. I hope we keep coming back here with the trucks. I think it's a really good race.
Well, really, really appreciate your time, buddy. We'll see what happens. Good luck.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, and Austin has passed Ben Rhodes for second in points, and if he would happen to get this win, either we go back racing and he finishes the job, or by chance it's called because of weather, he would also have 2 wins, which would equal Ben Rhodes. And so Austin Hill would jump all the way from 5th in the point standings to 2nd.
And they said when they came to Watkins Glen, that was their goal.
Yep.
Go out, win the race, and get to second in the standings. And right now, that looks like we're exactly where they are.
They've done a really good job at it. You think about winning the second stage, positioning themselves to win the race, and who knows what's going to happen here. Now, like I said, you got to stay and watch this whole thing, because right now it's one thing. 11 laps later, it can be a completely different story, and we got a new storyline on this thing.
Yeah, and as Hill would move to second in the playoff standings, remember, you get playoff points for how you finish in the top 10. So the champion gets 15, the second place driver gets 10, and the third place driver gets 8, and then it goes down 1 from there. So moving from 5th to 2nd is
huge.
Also a big gain from a playoff points perspective.
And that might be exactly what he needs to get to the second round of the playoffs. You never know when 1 point can keep you from getting to where you're headed. And having that cushion, having those bonus points is certainly something that that team was working toward today. And I want to just say real quickly, what a flawless strategy these teams have called. He was able to pit early at the first stage, win the second, and be in front for the third. I don't think you can pull out your playbook and do it much better than that.
Say it worked out fairly well for him. At this point, fast truck, good strategy, good driver doing his job out there as well, not making mistakes. This is what happens.
Ominous skies above us here at Watkins Glen, and you saw the message board with lightning in the area. Fans being asked to take cover as well. We're under red at the Glen. The ominous skies over Watkins Glen as we are under red because of lightning in the area. We haven't gotten any rain yet, although a pretty heavy storm is in the area as well. But so far, we have remained dry, and the trucks are lined up on pit road. Austin Hill is the leader. And it's been an action-packed race, that's for sure. It began on lap 1, turn 1.
Right off the bat, no one know where to brake, no practice. No one's been here in a long time. Some trucks are driving in hard, some were going in fairly easy, and boy, oh boy.
Austin Hill was out front, and then Todd Gilliland got around him, and Gilliland ended up going on to win stage 1. Chad Chastain making his Truck Series debut into the wall.
Let's try this again into turn 1. We can do better, right?
No.
We can't.
It looks like a replay of the first time we tried it.
Same color trucks and everything.
And there is Gilliland taking that green and white checker to win stage 1. Zane Smith was out front for a while and challenged by Sam Mayer. The two of them had a nice little battle. Smith eventually wrestled the lead away, and then the 16 of Austin Hill took it from Smith.
And then just stretched it out. Won that stage. His strategy, like we mentioned earlier, worked perfectly, and not so perfectly today for Derek Kraus. You can see a lot of damage to that 19 truck. Winds up in the grass.
Here's the most recent restart with Hill and Gilliland, or Hill and Nemechek on the front row, and they got through a lot more cleanly. And so miracles never cease. And then they brought him down shortly thereafter because of the lightning, as you look at our Blue Emu race summary. And the different leaders, 7 different leaders. Austin Hill has led the most laps, 34. Hill had only led 2 laps on a road course before today. So, I mean, this guy's really coming along, isn't he? I mean, he won on the dirt at Knoxville. I loved your interview with him. Mike said, you know, he's a dirt racer, road course racer. He's got them all figured out.
He's been very smooth today. You watch just the way he's making his laps. You don't see tires locking up. You don't see him offline. He's hitting the apexes correctly. His truck's not getting sideways on the exit. He's managing his tires. He's managing his brakes. He's got a fast truck. We talked about the strategy has been perfect, but the driver's doing his job as well. At this point, they deserve to be in the lead.
You know, and that's what we've seen out of Austin Hill lately. He's just, I mean, over the last couple of years, he just seems to put that truck right where it needs to be in order to get the most out of it. At Knoxville, you had to wrap that bottom. Once you had to do that, I said, better watch Austin Hill. He's pretty good on the bottom. At Watkins Glen, you got to hit those apexes, hit those corners right. He's doing his job perfectly.
Now, we do have the Xfinity race here at Watkins Glen after this one, so we're in a little bit of a schedule bind in regards to how much daylight do we have, if all because of the rain and the lightning, etc. So if, and no decision has been made, but if we would happen to be done at this point, if they would call this race, this is what our playoff standings would look like, with John Hunter Nemechek as your regular season champion and Hocevar, Smith, and Friesen grabbing those 3 final spots that were available coming into this race today.
The first thing that stands out to me here is the lead that John Hunter Nemechek has earned through the regular season. Winning those races, collecting playoff points, winning stages, and ultimately winning the regular season points system gives him a 28-point lead. That's a huge deal when it's only 3 races before you get to the next cutoff race.
And those 3 races in the next round for the championship would begin at Worldwide Technology just outside St. Louis on August 20th. And then we'd go to Darlington and then to Bristol for the elimination race in round 1. Then out west to begin round 2 in Las Vegas. Oh, it's about Talladega to throw in.
Why not?
And then Martinsville.
Elimination race.
For the elimination race that takes us to the championship at Phoenix.
What about they go to the biggest track and tell the racers, just stretch your legs, boys, and then they take them to the smallest track the next week. So they better tighten things up.
You got to be good at everything.
Yeah, that's just the way it should be. Under red at the Glen with Austin Hill in the lead. Has done it in race number 3 of the season. Kyle Busch, his 6th Atlanta win. Martin Truex Jr. at Bristol. John Hunter Nemechek, the winner at Richmond. Kyle Busch celebrates at Kansas. Sheldon Creed gets his first win of the season at Darlington. Todd Gilliland wins at Circuit of the Americas. John Hunter Nemechek with his 4th win of the season. Ryan Preece wins at Nashville. John Hunter Nemechek doesn't miss the tricky triangle and win number 5. Austin Hill wins the first Camping World Truck Series race at Knoxville. And can it be back-to-back wins for Austin Hill after winning on the dirt at Knoxville? You see the trucks are covered up on pit road as we're in a weather delay because of lightning. Now, they could run in the precipitation. I mean, obviously, we're on a road course. They've got rain tires, but we're in delay because of lightning, not because of the precipitation. And, of course, as mentioned, as we talked about before, there is another race scheduled this afternoon. The Xfinity Race is expected to follow the truck race, so up a little bit of a schedule bind here in regards to remaining daylight hours.
Austin Hill was fine with it just ending right now, right? Isn't that what he told us?
He was, yes.
Depends on who you are sometimes. I tell you, there's no weirder feeling than sometimes you're in a lightning hole, but it's still raining, and you're strapping back in the car while it's raining. For someone that's ran on ovals and NASCAR stuff his whole life, strapping into a race car while it's raining just does not feel right. But we do it, and it's pretty fun when you can see.
If you're a driver in this situation and they say, okay, we are going to go back, put yourself in that situation, then who's in favor of that? And who we know Austin Hill in all likelihood would not be in favor of it. But it does open up an opportunity for so many of these other guys, including a guy like Tyler Ankrum, who's got to win to get in.
Tyler's in 7th. Yeah. He's like, yeah, let's put those rain tires on. That's my chance. I want to go playoff racing. I want to win a championship. And that opportunity still exists if they do go back racing, because anything can happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, he is saying we're good to go. There might be a few that feel like they've gotten a decent finish, you know, if there is the finish right now, and okay, I'm all right. But if you're John Hunter Nemechek, what do you got to lose? You're second. What does second do for you? You got the regular season championships tied up. There's 5 playoff points sitting in front of you. If you're able to beat Austin Hill in the rain, or if this race keeps going, why not?
Yep.
Like, at that point, strap in. Let's go. I got nothing to lose. I finished second. I finished 30th. Who cares?
Austin's probably the only one of the group that doesn't want to go back racing. Let's go check in with Jamie Howe. Jamie?
Another driver that doesn't want to go back to racing is Parker Kligerman. We don't see a lot of him, but we're going to see more of him as we end out the season. He'll be at Darlington, Talladega, Martinsville, and then last stop on the tour for him this year will be Bristol. But the reason he doesn't want to go back is because right now he's 5th. And coming into this race, his sponsor, Fast, said if you finish in the top 5, we're going to make your hoodies on Fast.co $1. So anybody watching that's a Parker Kligerman fan, you can go to Fast.co if this checkered flag comes out and get your $1 hoodie. They're normally like $35.
Oh, that's a pretty good deal.
Well, now all the fans are hoping this thing's over.
Well, we mentioned a little bit earlier, Joey, you had some big news during this break that you and your wife are expecting your 3rd child, and we had a little the gender reveal. That's a big thing these days, right?
This was it. Hudson and Jameson and the Power Wheels. And if you're wondering who that lady is who's really excited, that's Brittany's mom. She was very excited it was a girl, as you can tell. More excited than anybody there. But it was cool. So when Hudson's our oldest, and when we did a gender reveal for him, we got an actual Mustang, and you can buy tires that either come out with blue smoke or pink smoke when you do a burnout. So it was obviously blue smoke, and we thought it was kind of a cool full circle with Hudson driving now, the Power Wheels, and with Jamison in the passenger seat and smoking them up. So I think he just wanted to do a burnout. I don't think he really cared what was going to happen. I told him just smoke them up. He's like, okay, yeah. So he's funny now.
What do the boys think about getting a sister?
Well, Jamison doesn't even know which way's up still. Yeah. He's trying to figure out how to walk still. But but Hudson seems to be excited. Yeah. He likes we have a friend of ours that has a bunch of girls. He hangs out with them. I think they're all hanging out right now, actually. So, he's pumped up about it. He keeps throwing names out there left and right and what he thinks. So
you won the internet that day. That was pretty awesome.
It was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. It's a special time. We're gonna have our hands full. Because the change from one, and anyone watching could probably understand, from no kids to one kid's a game changer. 1 to 2 is like, oh my God, how do we do this? 3, we're outnumbered. We're completely outnumbered. So someone's going to have to start learning how to take care of themselves.
Yeah, so you go from man to a zone.
Yeah, zone.
With the 3.
Yeah.
Hey, later today on FS1, National League East rivals at it again. Pete Alonso and the Mets taking on Bryce Harper and the Phillies right here on FS1. And then it's the Diamondbacks taking on Manny Machado and the Padres. Major League Baseball doubleheader begins today at 3 here on FS1. Back at Watkins Glen, and still under red. You see 11 laps left in this race. Austin Hill is the leader, but we're under red because of a lightning delay, and you see a little bit of precipitation starting to fall here as well. We can race in the rain because we have the rain tires, but can't do it in the lightning when it's so close to the area. So that's why the trucks have come to pit road and have been covered up. So we're just in a holding pattern for now.
NASCAR starts a clock once lightning is in the area, and have to wait 30 minutes before you can resume activities.
It's like the longest 30 minutes ever, though. You want to see what's going to happen so bad.
How do you think Austin Hill feels?
Yeah. Austin is
He's
saying.
doing a rain dance somewhere down in turn 1 or something.
The lightning dance.
Yeah. Yeah, the lightning dance. Oh, exactly.
Let's check back in with Jamie Howe. Jamie?
Another story, Vince, that we get to tell now that we have the time. Timmy Hill's truck on the would be the bed cover. Some friends of his bought into that real estate area, if you will. So they put their wedding save the date. I actually met this couple on pit lane before the start of this race. Is Joe Miller and his fiancee Jenny. They're choosing today to tell their friends and family when their wedding will be. It's going to be August 6, 2022. He said, this is all about family out here. We're just trying to help our friend. He's giving us this space so we can do something cool, something different. So that's the wedding save the date for the Millers. If you're friends of theirs, now you know where to go. Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, there you have it.
We're on our way.
Yeah. And then they can walk around and say, we're the Millers.
There's always these unique and creative ways to make the big announcements these days. So
I guess
there you have it.
That's a good one. Put it on a racetrack.
I'd like to announce I'm getting married, but I'm not.
Well, that would be breaking news. We'd have to get the breaking news sounder out for that one, Mike. Well, you see, I mean, there is a little bit of precipitation, but it's not enough to even make everybody head for cover. So
the hard part right now is if the lightning was to be cleared and we're good to go, what kind of tires do you want to put on your truck? Do you want dries? Man, or are you going to put the wets on?
I want to tell you, I had the best. I went up in the grandstands at COTA once the race started and watched with the fans, and seeing Austin Cindric on slicks and other guys on coming and get those rain tires, just all the strategy and the difference in speed and the way these guys were driving cars in the rain with slicks on. I mean, that's just entertaining. It was really fun to watch down there at COTA. What do you think about the rain tires? Is it something you enjoy?
I thought it was okay, as long as you can see. That is the biggest thing. The cars they're out of control, and there's a lot going on, but it's pretty fun, and you got to be, smart about where you are on a racetrack and the lines change and all that. The vision was the biggest problem at COTA, and then that's probably the biggest goal to try to fix moving forward, is how do you eliminate some of that spray, and then how can we do that at more than just road courses?
Yeah.
Right? There's an option for you, as long as you can see. That's what it comes down to. We've seen at COTA when you couldn't see,
what happens?
It causes a big, dangerous crash.
Right.
We can't have that. We have to fix that part. But the driving them, if you're by yourself out there towards the top 5, it's a lot of fun out there for sure. And trying to choose when to go from slicks, like you were talking about, when the slicks, when the dries. I laughed at the beginning of that race because they gave us the option, and then we went to dries. We ran one lap, put wets on. It's like, what do we do when we change tires so many times in 2 laps? So, Regan, what's going on down there?
Joey, I can tell you right now that just walking around the pit road, walking around the garage area, if we do get this race back going, we get this lightning out of here right now, I'm going to, if I'm a crew chief, leave the decision with my driver, because as I'm looking at the ground, it doesn't look wet. It is definitely raining right now. The ground doesn't look wet. So as they come off of turn 6 or turn 7 to pit road, I'm going to say, you make the decision. You saw the racetrack, I didn't. Much like Circuit of the Americas, very difficult decision if we get this thing going. And the rain, it's been coming in and out. It's not been one torrential downpour at any point, and I got to tell you, I don't think the track's been lost yet. So still a little bit of hope here to get this going again.
I think right now you're doing dries. From what we see on camera here. That's the hard part, is like you said, Regan, you can't see the whole racetrack here. It's so big. It gets so far out there. It could be raining in one section of the track, and the other area is completely dry.
Well, and we're somewhat restricted from the different shots that we can provide you, because some of our cameras are down because of the lightning. So we're limited in what type of shots we could give you in regards to exactly the surface and how damp it might be. But at least at this point, we do have some cameras up that we can show you that it is pretty dry. It's been a tough day, dry or wet, on some of these guys today. This was turn 1, lap 1.
I'm going to guess a couple of those guys just really didn't see that coming. A blown tire in the S's, complete 360, and Tyler Ankrum continues on his way, and guess where he's rebounded to? 7th position. Banana pepper sauce got a little dicey there through the bus stop.
Was Tate Fogelman, and this is Chad Chastain in his series debut. Ross Chastain originally was to drive that 45, but his brother Chad in there now.
Matt Crafton with a big spin through the bus stop.
Had a little help.
Everybody's glad they paved that section a few years back. That used to be a gravel trap. You'd be stuck there.
And it was just that, a trap.
Yep.
Derek Kraus off turn 5 into the grass and wall. Flat right front tire, as you see. And that led us to here, Vince. And here we sit.
Well, we're going to continue and hopefully get the green light. And once this lightning passes, and we can finish this race up here at the Glen. Back here at Watkins Glen, the Camping World Truck Series under red with 11 to go, and not because of an accident or anything of that nature, which normally brings out the red. It's because of lightning. Lightning in the area has caused the trucks to be brought down pit road and covered up. We thought we were going to get a pretty heavy rainstorm as well, and there has been some precipitation, but it hasn't been a downpour by any stretch. And you can see there the track is in pretty good shape. The Kyle Busch Motorsports cover over the truck of John Hunter Nemechek, who is currently sitting second in this race. And you see the regular season champions of years past and where they ended up finishing in the championship. I think you certainly got to call John Hunter the favorite to win the championship, wouldn't you agree?
You do, and all those playoff points that those drivers on that list that you see helped them get to the championship 4. You see all but one made it to the championship 4, except Austin Hill last year in 2020. You know, so those points really help you get along because it gives you a buffer just in case something happens. We've seen races like we saw here today so far is things look like they're going smooth, and next thing you know, you're spun around backwards, or you have a flat tire, or your motor blows up. It could be anything. And having those playoff points that you earn throughout the regular season is what helps you get along. And I use the word earn because they deserve to have that advantage. That's what makes all the fans, all of us competitors, want to watch and compete hard in every single race during the season, whether it's in the playoffs or in the regular season, because we talked about it earlier, Michael. 1 point, 2 points could be the difference of getting yourselves into the championship 4 or not. And, you know, we're most likely going to see that a few times throughout the playoffs where some would say, dang it, if I had 1 more point, I'd have a shot at a championship still.
And that's why Austin Hill came to Watkins Glen with one thing on mind: winning this race, gathering as many points as he could get, and moving up in the standings to get those playoff points. And, you know, I will make John Hunter Nemechek the favorite for this championship. I think the numbers all prove that he's been the best truck all year long. But I like where Austin Hill, Hattori Racing, Scott Zipadelli, I like where they are right now. They've just been stronger and stronger week in and week out. They're going into the playoffs with a lot of momentum between those guys, and Ben Rhodes, the way he started the season, certainly going to be a tough fight all the way to Phoenix.
Well, and I think Todd Gilliland wouldn't be far outside that group of discussion. Gilliland won at COTA. He's, we mentioned earlier, he's been top 10, I think, at 7 of the last 9 races, if memory serves me correctly. Got another one of those going today. He's currently sitting 4th and won a stage earlier today. And they're another team that I think seems to be peaking at the right time. Do they have enough to win on the ovals and the, you know, in the different tracks that we're going to go run? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, but I think
I think they do. I think they've made those strides from where they were a year ago.
And then what about Sheldon Creed? I mean, he knows how to perform when everything is on the line and step up and win a championship. So, you know, it's easy, I think, pretty easy, Joey. You watch these races like me. Pretty easy to make John Hunter your favorite. But, man, that second guy, who's going to be nipping on his heels, and who's going to be the guy that steps up and makes themselves one of those final 4?
It's playoff sports. Playoffs bring the best and the worst out of people. And it's not, and we single out drivers while we're talking about them right now, but it's not just a driver. It's the whole team that has to come together to win a championship and do it correctly. That it could be one pit stop that keeps you from winning a championship. You know, it could be one loose wheel. It can be missing the setup. It could be one bad restart. It could be your maybe your spotter miscalling something or not being aggressive enough. The whole team has to come together. The driver's the quarterback. Okay, the driver's got to throw the ball. I get it. Everything's got to, you know, come together at the right time, and he's got to make some split-second decisions. But the driver's not doing it alone. I promise you that. And so these teams, it's a championship-winning team in this sport for sure.
I think that's a great point. If we would be called where we sit right now with Austin Hill in the lead, this would be our playoff 10. And this is how the points would break down in regards to the playoff points added in. And you see John Hunter Nemechek would have an advantage. He'd have a 28-point advantage over Austin Hill at the start. And that as, how about a 48-point advantage over Friesen and Chandler Smith at the start of the playoffs in that first round of 3 races. It's a huge advantage.
If you're John Hunter, your first round or 2 is just don't screw up. Just go out there, finish top 5, top 10. You're not going to have any issues. Now, as it, you know, the heat starts picking up a little bit and you start getting closer to that final round, that championship 4, it's going to be game on. But for these other guys, it's going to be a battle trying to get into the next round.
Isn't it interesting? We weren't even looking at the playoff standings, and the top 5 guys there, we all mentioned them as contenders for the championship, and then you've got the second 5, and those guys are like, well, you ain't seen what we've got yet. We're going to be up in our game and coming after those guys to be one of the contenders for this championship. And Zane Smith has shown speed all year long to do just that. Crafton, I just think of him as just Mr. Consistency and steady, just works his way to the finish and got himself in a position to race for a championship. Carson Hocevar, a young man that's stepping up, showing more speed week in and week out. Chandler Smith was able to overcome some serious problems early in this race to get himself in the championship. And Stuart Friesen, he's shown speed at every track we go to. Hasn't been that great this year, but was able to get make his way into the playoffs. See if he can come up with something special in the next in this first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing when you look at what Chandler Smith has. At one point, he was so far below the cut line that you thought, well, he has no chance, and unless something drastic should happen. And then over the course of the next 5 races, drastic things did happen. He started putting together good finishes, 6th, the 5th, and then, of course, 2nd at Knoxville in the most recent race prior to this one. And those finishes allowed him an opportunity, along with some missteps by some other drivers, allowed him an opportunity to erase that deficit and put himself in position.
Well, we talk about this in the Truck Series sometimes. The experience level with these drivers, some have a lot of experience and been doing this for a long time. Others, first time in this position, right? You're driving in a NASCAR top 3 series, right? And you have a chance to move on into the playoffs or move into the next round and try to win a championship. Yeah, some of these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old. They haven't been through this before. You know, they don't know. You know, so how do you handle that pressure? How do you prepare for that? Those mistakes will be made, and that's okay. You know, at this age and at this level, you have to learn. And I always say mistakes are okay as long as you learn from them. You become better. I don't believe you lose if you learn from your mistake. You either win or you become smarter, one or the other. That's why I love the playoffs, because you find something new about yourself all the time. You know, you get stronger. You know, even if you get to the championship 4 and you don't win, it's the biggest, you know, kick to the gut that you can ever imagine, because you're so close to winning the championship. It hurts more than anything. But every time I've been in the championship 4, you know, we've won it once, but we've lost 3 of them. And I know I've become a stronger driver, a stronger leader, you know, every single time.
Good points, for sure. Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping this red flag gets lifted and we're able to complete the final 11 laps of the Camping World Truck Series regular season finale.
Joey.
Still under red because of the lightning in the area, and you see that has cleared the grandstands as the fans have sought cover for their safety. And we continue to wait, hoping that we'll be able to finish this one here, the regular season finale today. The playoffs, regardless, the playoffs are going to begin August 20th at Worldwide Technology, just outside St. Louis, and Sheldon Creed was the winner there a year ago. But boy, what a great place. They do a tremendous job with that entire facility, regardless of what series it is running, and I always look forward to going there with the trucks and having a good time.
Well, as you can see, action galore.
Yep.
I mean, it's a really fast track. A short track, but man, a lot of speed in that track. It's a super speedway. It kind of like reminds you of Richmond or Phoenix. You know, it's a track that you haul the mail on, but it's tight, close racing.
Yeah, you don't really know what to call it. Is it a short track? Is it a mile and a half? It is like Loudon, like we were a couple weeks ago. You have some speed. You got to use a lot of brake, though. You got to slow down a lot in the corners. You see these guys shifting.
Yeah.
In these trucks and Xfinity cars when they run there, like they're blowing those things up a lot. It's in 2 corners that are completely different. 1 and 2, some banking, really sharp. 3 and 4, a little less banking, a little wider corner. So definitely a lot of interesting things going to happen out there.
And then you go to Darlington for the second race in round 1.
Okay, there's not words that can describe how tough the task at Darlington is. I mean, Joey, you know this place as good as anybody. I just can't to explain to fans how close you are to wrecking at that place most every lap. It just tightens you up thinking about it. And we saw a crazy race there in the spring with our trucks, and so no telling what we'll get there.
Risk versus reward. When I think of Darlington, it's what's the risk and what's the reward for how hard I'm willing to drive my car, and that's what it comes down to. Do I push and put myself in a position to maybe hit the wall and take myself out of the race, but maybe get up front and get to the lead, or do you be smart? And when you're in the playoffs, you have to know your position. You have to know what you have to do, not just before the race starts, but while the race is going. As we've seen here today, the point situation has changed a lot to where you have to adjust your strategy on what you're doing to try to, move yourself into the next round.
Well, and if you happen to survive Worldwide Technology and Darlington, then you've got Bristol.
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
they cleaned that place up yet? Is it still dirt all over it, or is it cleaned up?
They're going to have it cleaned up by then.
I hope, usually the first round of a test is easier than the second round. But there's nothing that's going to be any more difficult than this. This stacks up to I don't know whether you would make an experienced veteran like Matt Crafton the favorite when you come to a round like this, or the young, fast John Hunter Nemechek, who's just all he's thinking everywhere he unloads is win the race.
Yeah, well, we say John Hunter Nemechek, yeah, he's young and fast, of course, but he has a lot of experience behind him too. He ran a whole year of Cup. He's been on he's run a lot of Xfinity races as well. He's been around for a while. This isn't his first rodeo.
I think it's interesting. Those 3 races have so much technical elements to them, I think. And then you look at round 2 of Vegas, Talladega, certainly wide open for the trucks at both of those places. And then just the opposite of that at Martinsville for the cutoff race. So I mean, just such unique challenges with each of these playoff stops.
And just intriguing. When you think of the tracks and the challenges, it just makes you want to tune in FS1 every week and see what these trucks are going to do.
No one said it was going to be easy. That's what makes it so special when you win these things. It's hard. Yeah, you're racing against some very strong competitors all the way through. And like I said, the playoffs will bring the best and the worst out of you. You see more drama. You see more pit road fights and more excitement when you win. It's just everything is on the line. It means so much to win one of those races.
And you've secured a spot in the Cup playoff picture, and of course we'll be racing here at Watkins Glen on Sunday. What's your thoughts about where your team sits as you look ahead to the postseason?
I feel like we're starting to hit our stride. You look at Loudon last week, our 750 rules package, the short track package has been our strength for the last 2 years. And I think it still is. We had a really fast car at Loudon, one that was very capable of winning if we didn't run into our own issues. So I feel like we're making some gains on the 550 package as well. And so if you watch the Cup level, it's a roller coaster, right? You have the beginning of the year, the 11 was unstoppable, right? Now okay, we can race with them, right? The Hendrick cars were unstoppable. Oh, looks like we might be catching up to them a little bit now. It just goes back and forth, and you just hope you peak at the right time and bring everything when it matters the most. And so I think we're heading that right direction. Time will tell. We got some interesting racetracks coming up these next 2 weeks that might not give us the cleanest of reads of where we stack up, right? Watkins Glen, Indy Road Course. A couple road courses may not paint the full picture of where you stack up. But I know one thing, it still pays the same amount of points. So you better go get them.
One of the biggest stories out of the Cup Series this season, but especially from the Penske position, is Brad's departure at the end of this season. How does that change the dynamic of the team, and does that change your role now kind of as the senior member of that team.
Thanks for the senior comments here.
Veteran, you veteran.
Veteran, it sounds a little better than senior. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Brad and I have a close relationship as teammates. We bounce a lot of things off each other. Yes, we race hard, and we're supposed to, and that's our jobs. We both want to win. We're very competitive people. But at the same time, we were able to push each other a lot, right? Where he was able to make me better. He was able to make me think outside the box. Hopefully, I was able to do the same for him. And I look at what Blaney can bring to the table now. 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't say Blaney was pushing me much at all. Now I look at Ryan Blaney and I say, wow, he's pushing me a lot, particularly on the 550 racetracks, where he is the strongest in our company right now on those racetracks. And so naturally, I have to try to, catch up, figure out what he's doing, try to make those gains. I look at Austin Cindric. Obviously, he is a very accomplished road racer. You look what he was able to do at Road America in the Cup car, very fast, right off the truck. Knows where he's going, knows what he needs on those things, and his work ethic is very, very good. So I think that will also kind of help push me along, and as we can try to help him, get his head wrapped around the short tracks and ovals, the things that Blaney and I have done for forever. So, I think it'll be a lot of change and a lot of new ways of doing things, but boy, we're gonna have plenty of new things next year when you add the next gen car on top of that. Pit stops change, the way you set up your cars, the way you go to the racetrack, everything will be different next year. So if there is a moment for all of this switching and jumping around, this would be the moment.
Yeah. We all, I think, from a race fan's perspective, looking forward to that challenge as well, and the excitement it's going to bring. Still hoping to get this one finished at the Glen. Back at Watkins Glen, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and because of lightning in the area and continued strikes, this race has been called 11 laps shy of the end, and the winner will be Austin Hill. And that means it's the second win of the season for Austin, and they come in back-to-back races after he won the most recent race at Watkins Glen, and they're at Knoxville, and you see starting to uncover that 16 truck. It's not raining at the Glen, but because of repeated lightning strikes and the schedule that they're up against, they have called this one 11 laps shy of the finish, and Austin Hill is the winner.